Imagine yourself driving down the road and your car doesn't like your driving, so it just shuts itself off. Seems like a fairy tale, right? It's not. In North Korea, you can't own a car unless the government approves you. You can't travel freely within the country or leave the country without government permission. For years, women were not legally allowed to drive at all. Not because of safety, because the government said no. Control of movement is control of people. So now, imagine buying a brand new car here in the United States. You pay for it, you insure it, you maintain it, and then you are told when and how you are allowed to drive it. That's insane, right? Could never happen. But that may just become a reality. The justification is impaired driving. The result is control built into the vehicle itself. So before you buy your next car, you need to understand what our government is trying to do and get added to new cars, how this affects you as a consumer, and how much this is going to cost you. I want your comment before this video ends. I want your honest take, and I need you to share this because most people have no idea that this is actually happening. So I want to be clear right up front. I'm not political. This video is not political. I don't care who is president. I don't follow party politics. This is not what this channel is about. This is a consumer rights issue. I've been making videos like this since 2010. For over a decade and a half, this channel has existed for one reason: helping you as a consumer, understanding cars, ownership, buying, and the rules that affect you. This video is a little bit different than what I normally do. I didn't even run out the front door at the beginning of the video. I'm proud of the fact that I do not have to make videos walking things back or pretending I never said something. I've never deleted a video. I do my homework, I read the fine print, I explain what is happening as clearly as I can. Could there be mistakes in this video? Absolutely. Things change, rules evolve, technology moves fast. This is why I always encourage you to do your own research. So don't take my word for it. Read the law, look at what is written, watch the changes, look what is missing. This is how consumers protect themselves. Now let's talk about the justification being used. Impaired driving is a serious issue. It is currently the third leading cause of roadway deaths in the US. Speeding is number 2, distracted driving is number 1. So yeah, being on your cell phone kills more people on the road today than drunk driving. So yes, impaired driving matters, but this just became a reality. The justification is impaired driving. The result is control built into the vehicle itself. Under US Code Section 24220 of the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, regulators were directed to require advanced impaired driving prevention technology in all new passenger vehicles. That language allows systems that monitor a driver's behavior and limit or prevent vehicle operation if impairment is suspected. Keyword is suspected. In this country, we are innocent until proven guilty. But with technology, we're never innocent, we're always guilty. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration was tasked with writing the rules. Once finalized, those rules would require this technology in new vehicles before they can be sold. This is not about crash safety. This technology is designed to monitor you while you are driving and intervene in real time. The problem is process. The law does not define how you get out of a lockout. There is no required appeal process, no mandate reset timeline, no guaranteed human review once the system flags impairment. Right now, NHTSA has not finalized the rule yet. The agency actually missed the original deadline, so there's no standard in place today. That means there is no current kill switch requirement on the roads yet. But once this rule is finalized and the manufacturers build it, the technology becomes standard equipment. And let's face it, the government isn't exactly known for being great with technology. The average age of the US Senate is about 64 years old. So tell me how many of your grandparents can use their phone efficiently? Do they struggle with apps? Do they need help updating software? Now ask yourself if those same people should be writing rules for complex software driving systems that control modern vehicles. Technology moves fast, laws do not. And once rules like this are in place, they are hard to undo. Now, I wanted to talk about the technology itself. The systems are passive. They operate in the background. Possibilities include driver-facing cameras, tracking eye movement, software analyzing steering behavior, or touch-based sensors estimating alcohol levels. These systems do not measure certainty. They measure probability, which is a big deal. Fatigue, stress, medications, medical conditions, normal drive corrections, all of this can look like impairment to a computer. So just to prove this point, this type of technology actually already exists today in several vehicles. So GM Super Cruise, did you know that it can bring your vehicle to a stop, turn on the hazard lights, and call 911 without your interaction. It was designed for situations where a driver has a serious medical emergency. If Super Cruise is active and the system does not detect driver input for a predetermined amount of time, the vehicle will slow itself down, pull itself off the road to a complete stop, activate the flashers, and then contact OnStar Emergency Service. That system was built for rare emergencies. That concern is what happens when technology like this expands beyond emergencies and starts deciding how everyday driving is handled. So let's picture a real world scenario. You're driving in the winter. You have to swerve to avoid a pothole. You move to miss a deer. The system flags erratic behavior. Let's just say you're a bad driver. They're all out there, right? Now what? Does the car force you to pull over? Does it shut itself down while you're moving? Do you press a button and ask permission to continue? Do you wait for police or assistance to unlock it? We already know what happens when cars shut off unexpectedly. GM lived through this with the ignition switch recall. Vehicles shut off while driving, drivers lost power steering, they lost power brake assist, they lost control, and sadly, people died. That was a mechanical issue. Now we are talking about systems designed to intervene on purpose. This should concern you. It concerns me, which is why I'm doing this video. Now let's talk about sports cars, because this is where this completely falls apart. You buy a performance car, you take it to a racetrack. Track days are legal. Autocross events are legal. SCCA rents parking lots every weekend across the country. Spirited driving is legal. GM has a Z mode button built into multiple cars just so you can drive it on public roads that way. On closed courses, you're supposed to drive aggressively. Hard braking, hard acceleration, sharp steering inputs. From a computer's perspective, that looks like unsafe driving. So what happens? Does the car shut itself off on the track? Does it limit power? Does it ignore the environment and intervene anyways? Certainly, you have seen videos of OnStar calling emergency services when a vehicle has wrecked on the track. You paid for the car. You paid for the track time. You followed the rules. Software decides you went too far. That should bother you. It bothers me. Now let's talk about cost. Every mandated system adds costs to your vehicle purchase. We already complain that new vehicles are way too much. I certainly agree with that. I agree that used vehicles are way too much. Hardware, sensors, software, calibration, repairs down the road. And this is the part nobody talks about, is the recalibration. I own an Audi RS Q8. A four-wheel alignment on that car is nearly $1,200. A four-wheel alignment, something you should do every year to your car. Not because of alignment angles, but because of sensors. They tell me that this is a 9-hour job to do a four-wheel alignment on my car. Replace a windshield. Have you ever had to do that? You have to recalibrate ADS. That is not cheap. Probably somewhere right around $300. This picture you see on the screen right now is the calibration equipment. Do you have any idea how much that costs? $49,387.79. That cost does not disappear. It comes back to you through repairs and insurance rates, which are already too high as well. Now let's talk about mandates we already live with. Airbags were mandated and they serve a clear purpose. Other mandates add a cost with questionable benefits. Daytime running lights. Okay, they say they do better. I think they do, but that's a cost that was mandated to us. Third brake lights. Again, does it really save lives in accidents? And then we have the lovely start-stop technology. This start-stop technology was not mandated. And I have never talked to one person who says, I love it when my car shuts off at red lights to save around 1 or 2 miles per gallon. They've had to build up the capacity of the starter for the vehicle to start-stop that much. This costs you money. The systems exist to help manufacturers earn clean air credits, not to save you money. It adds wear, complexity, and repair costs. Now, imagine that mindset paired with a kill switch technology. We're gonna have more systems, we're gonna have more sensors, certainly gonna have more software, more calibration, and most importantly, more cost. And now you add data in the mix. Data is the most sought after commodity in this world. It's higher than gold, higher than silver, higher than anything out there. If your car monitors driving, the data exists. If the data exists, people are gonna want it, especially insurance companies want it. Rates already changed based off of behavior tracking. Now your premium goes up because the car decided something felt aggressive. I have had multiple Teslas. I was in their beta program for autopilot. I got kicked out of that beta program because it didn't like how I turned out onto a road at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. If I wouldn't have drove aggressively at that point, I would never get off the side street at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. There's also a constitutional issue. Whether people like that for conversation or not, the Fourth Amendment exists to protect against unreasonable search and seizure. Our data being sold out there is unreasonable search and seizure. Continuous monitoring inside a personal vehicle pushes right up against that line. Let me get this point across. Do you really think that that new car manufacturer will build a form that you are required to sign so you give up those rights? You better believe they will. No warrant, no stop, just data. Think back in the COVID era, movement restrictions. We had proof requirements. We had essential worker classifications. Now pair that environment with vehicles that accept shutdown commands. Imagine if the government had an idea to shut down a car all over a certain area to not allow you to drive during COVID. You think that's possible? Absolutely is. Tesla has proven they can control your cars with no issues. When there's been a natural disaster, they took everyone's battery up to the highest capacity so that you can get out of Florida with no issues. This is not free travel. This is permission-based movement. If the federal government truly wanted to stop impaired driving, there's one simple solution that costs you and me as taxpayers $0. We make across the entire country, not each state, the entire country, we make impairment laws the harshest in the world, stricter than Japan, stricter than the UAE. You get a DUI, you lose your license for 10 years, mandatory 5 years in jail, no plea agreements, no reckless driving charges, etc. You get caught driving on a suspended license from a DUI, you go to prison for 20 years. No cameras, no sensors, no software monitoring everyone. Target the behavior, punish the offense, do not build control systems in every car, and treat every driver the same. This is the difference between enforcement and overreach. This is not about fear, this is about awareness. And this is about to happen in all of our cars in the near future because it's already a law. So drop your comment. I want your take on this. Share this video with someone who drives. This affects every consumer behind the wheel.